everybody. I'm Mia Voss with the Mia Connect here with the latest edition of the Social Media Power Chat. I've got two guests plus one who's a surprise. Can you see her blocked out there? So everyone, welcome to the show, Chef Dennis Littley and Jessica Northey.
Hi.
Hi there.
I'm
Hello.
so excited. Hey, guys. So guess what? Before we get started, I just want to say I've never been much of a circle count or a size queen, but I have to say between these two guests and then you add my extra guests, we have 1.5 people circled between the two of you.
1.5 people, a whole
1.5 million.
Oh,
Oh, I'm like, oh, wow,
Whoa.
1.5.
I'm so excited.
I got your 0.5 right here. My little midget's next
Hold
to
on,
me.
my YouTube started up. So yeah, I think again, not being a size queen, but that's some pretty good norms, don't you guys think?
Ah, yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
That's
Okay.
a lot of
Look
people.
at my YouTube's going off. The whole thing. It's always crazy. Okay, listen. I'm going to get started. I'm going to talk about my guests real quick, and then we're going to introduce some of our people who are in the audience because we've got a ton of them. So first up, I'm going to start off with Jess, who's down in Tucson. Girlfriend, what are you up to lately? We've been doing some fun stuff together.
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
You know what happened? I did the same thing you did. My thing popped up like it was on there. Oh my God, you know, that's new. Anyways, hi, I'm Jessica.
It is new. Yay,
Hi.
honey. How are you?
I'm great. I need a crown too, but it's okay. I'll make one. Hey, Chef, where's your hat?
Yeah,
I don't-
chef, you need a chef hat. That's
Yeah, I
right.
have to get a hat. I'm sorry. Next time.
Where are you, Chef?
I am in Kissimmee, Florida now. I used to be outside of Philadelphia, but 2 weeks ago we moved. So I am loving the life down in sunny Florida.
Kissimmee,
got-
baby.
Yes, yes. Chef's in, and I love that I said that Chef's the only person that can actually do a show in his kitchen and it looks cool, because that's what you do. So, because you said you
Yeah.
haven't set your office up yet.
No, I haven't set my office up yet. And then once we're positive we're staying here, I'm going to rip this kitchen out and put a whole new one in too. So, but
You're
that's
gonna pimp your ride.
yeah, absolutely. So then I might do the shows from the kitchen, especially if I can talk KitchenAid into giving me some appliances, you know.
Oh, and talk about being product placement. Just put you right next to it. They would be really smart to do that. Get you
Let's
on all the shows and I just want to shout out Ralph Kaiser wanted to know if you were cooking for us this morning. I said I wasn't sure yet because that would actually be kind of mean if you cook something great and we didn't have
Couldn't share.
snip-o-vision.
That's the
Hey,
next
and-
step.
Yeah, we do need that. You need to be the test market for that. And Miss Jessica, you are down in Tucson, girlfriend. Tell us what you're up to lately. I just got on your show the other day with Bubba Sparks. That was awesome. You're doing some fun stuff.
Thank you. I'm in Tucson, and it's starting to get cold, so that's why I'm all like, but it's like 70 degrees out, and I'm like, brr.
I live in Denver, girlfriend. That's warm for us. That's so funny.
You know what? It is my whole life, my cross to bear. Actually, and I like 100-degree weather and 90-degree. I don't complain as much when it's African hot outside, but I start to get cold, and I'm like, brr.
I know it. On the flip side, I actually have been down. We talked about this. We had a nice chat while you were doing your power walk this morning and in the green room. And I've been down in Tucson and Phoenix before in the summer, and it was Africa hot. It was crazy.
Yeah, you know what? I am freezing right now. It's 69 degrees out, and it's like super cold. And I hate to say that because I sound like a wimp, but when we were like 100 a few weeks ago, and then all of a sudden, it might rain today too. I'm looking at the thing. It might rain. It might get up to 81 and rain today.
That is a heat wave. That's a cold chill for you guys too.
I know, crazy.
Yeah. Chef, you're going to start being that way down in Florida too. I know. Where did you move from before you got down to Florida?
We were right outside of Philadelphia, and actually it snowed up there a couple days ago, and we drove to the east coast of Florida and went to the beach. So we were really busting them seriously on Facebook and other social media, showing pictures of us on the beach while it was starting to snow and freeze up there. We did tell them we did have a cold snap. The people on the weather says, get out your boots and get out your gloves. It's going to be 67. You know, so
yeah, you're like exactly. You're like, what the? That is kind of fun to do, sort of the Facebook or the social media brag of like, check out how cool it is where I am right now. And then everybody gives you the, as I like to say, the STFU. Shut the hell up about that kind of thing. So, hey, before I get any further, I want to make a quick announcement. I want to announce that Edge Ad Exchange is my premium sponsor for today. I'm going to post their information here. So I got to give a little shout out to them. They came on board in the last couple of days. So woo woo from my Edge Ad Exchange. And then let's jump into, I'm going to look at some of the comments because everybody's pretty excited. Greg Trujillo, that came on mine and Christine's show the other day, says, "Chef, you're right down the street from me." That's awesome.
Wow.
He's in. He says he's in Orlando. Ralph says, "Yes, I'm hungry." So you might want to get. You might want to get that going on. Mark Seidel, Chef Dennis Doylestown in the house. Thomas Nellison, right here in Denver. Sniff-a-vision could be dangerous on Mexican food.
Only afterwards.
Exactly, and that's what I was thinking too when I read that. Roxanne Davenport, Bat Crab Crazy. Speaking of which, if you guys want to do, I'm really trying to take over the hashtag Bat Crab Crazy from all the government BS, because you either see the hashtag Bat Crab Crazy for me, or somebody complaining about the Tea Party or the government in general. So let's make a big push to make it a better connotation. So please use a hashtag #BatCrapCrazy. So, all right, you guys, let's jump in. We were talking in the green room. Maybe we'll do a little chat to start off with. And we just lost our girl Jessica, but she's got the thing. So we'll bring her in here in a second, and our special guest here in a second as well. Chef, let's talk about, you've got a show, Good Day Google. And Good Day Google Plus. Coming on actually right after my show. I came up with a phrase after watching Chef's show that Fridays are the must-see HOA day.
Absolutely.
And you're in on that too?
Yeah, we need to build up Fridays a little bit more and then get Google really marketing us, and we'll start taking over the networks, you know.
Yes, I prefer. I think Google needs to pimp us out hardcore. So they need
absolutely. We're like two of their rising stars here for HOAs. They need to take advantage of that.
They do, and then our other one, of course, is our buddy David Oldenburg and
yes.
Nicole that come on. I think they're on at the same time as you as well, but, you know, that's the beauty of these hangouts, which is why I started doing this, is people say, I can't make it. You know, you do miss out on the live interaction, but you can watch it anytime, in your underwear, in your bed, whatever you want to do, right? That's the great thing.
I know, and I love that. I always tell people, well, I don't have any pants on. I have shorts on. I do have pants on, but I don't have to get fully dressed for these things because they're only showing from the upper part, so I can be comfortable. That's
right. Business on top, party on the bottom.
There you go. There you go. So we have a good time. We can almost do these in our PJs, and everybody can come in their PJs, of course.
Well, so. Christine and I have done. We did a hangout with Miss Krithika a couple weeks ago, and it was in our PJs. Hey, real quick, I got another quick shout out. Tom Coleman, love you, brother. Woohoo, Jessica with Chef Dennis having some bat crap crazy fun with the delightful Mia Voss. Tom Coleman he needs a cheerleader skirt. He is such a good cheerleader.
I don't know if Tom goes that way. I'm sorry.
I know. Poor Tom. I just outed him. Sorry, buddy. He really does. So tell us about, real quick, Chef, and then Jessica, I see how you're back, honey. It's the beauty of the interwebs. Chef, tell us about your show and how you came up with the idea for it.
Well, you know, I had started, I was running a lot of shows for my community. I run the Google Plus food bloggers community, and I try to put something on to inform them and keep them well versed at what the changes are and share their experiences with everyone too. Because, you know, food bloggers were always notorious for not sharing their knowledge and passing things along. Everybody was always kind of afraid to talk. So I put these on in hopes that they'd start talking more to each other and let everybody know how to be successful. So, you know, that kind of ran its course. I did the first virtual bloggers conference back in July, and that was a lot of fun. And I took a breather after that, and I started something. I need to do something new. Everybody's doing these specific hangout shows pretty much where they're talking about, you know, certain subjects, and there's not a lot of interaction between guests as much. You know, your show is actually about the same as mine, and I thought there was a void for that, and I wanted more of a variety show, you know, where I have different guests on, and they just talk about what they do on Google Plus, and then ask each other questions. I have a lot of fun, and it was a way for me to also connect my friends on Google Plus. And you know,
that exactly, because they may not be. I mean, and that's the great thing about your show. I think people get confused sometimes. Oh, is it a cooking show? And I mean, you think, but talk about your guest today. You couldn't get any more different of a variance than what you got going on.
Today I have David Amerlan on, who wrote Google Semantic Search, and he is just the rock star.
I'm a little jelly.
Yeah, and this is the second time on for him, so he's a really great guy to have on. He's a lot of fun too. And then I have Heather Faye, who is a singer-songwriter and has her first CD. I think she's actually working on another one out, and she really was a rising star on Google Plus a couple years ago, and has really become very big. Because of Google Plus and because of her talents, they're showcasing it. So she's on today, and then I have my friend pastry chef Jenny Fields on. So we have quite an eclectic mix. So it should be pretty fun. But that's how it's gone so far. I've had one guest who was a WordPress guy, Craig Fifield, and he was talking to Jean, and Jean is a gluten-free, Gene Layton, yes, Gene Layton is a gluten-free blogger, and he was turning gluten-free because he was having some problems with his health. So they learn from each other, they talk to each other, and they really it's fun. They have a good time on it.
Well, I know I was on, and it was myself. Oh my God, and that fun food blogger from Texas. Jenny.
Jenny Kelly.
Such a girl crush on her. And then Martin Shervington, of course, I was nerding out hardcore and I got him all started with talking about Mercury in retrograde. But same thing, it was like a totally different, he's still cracking up at that one. It was a totally different experience. Everybody had something different to bring to the table. And you know what, Jessica, that's how it was. You had begun your show the other day. She invited me last minute, this just amazing musician, Bubba Sparks. And is he hip-hop country, Jessica?
We actually call it, it's hip hop, country, rap.
Yes, I knew there was a cool word for it.
It's a subgenre of country music. It's becoming more and more prevalent.
And it was so much fun because when she invited me on, of course, I watched his video, the Miss New Booty. I have to shout that out. Was still stuck in my head, FYI. Amazing voice. I don't follow country music, but Jessica made me feel really comfortable. You had some people from country, some people just across the board, and it was super fun. I had a great time. So I think that's kind of the key to a lot of these HOAs, where it's not too much, talking at you like I'm doing right now, but everybody's kind of bouncing in. And
I think you just have to remember who your audience is, and like I told you this morning, what I was saying is that Bubba, unbelievably talented. There's no way country music radio as it stands this minute today is ever going to play him on the radio. So everything he does is from all of this. And then understanding your audience, for me, like CM Chat on Monday nights, the Twitter view, we've been doing it for almost 3 years, and we have like 50 million impressions a week, and we reach 1 million consistently, and we do like 3,000 tweets in an hour, at least 3,000 tweets. So, and I bring, like, marrying that to this and trying to marry these two together, I guess my whole point was that taking you, social media, or like you, a chef, or me, music, or Jenny, who's the journalist, and marrying everybody together and letting them ask each other questions, because you didn't even, like, you're not country, right? You're not a country, you've never really been a country fan?
Not too much. I mean, I'm getting into it more now, but I definitely just was like, okay, I got to check this, because you sent me the videos too. And then
Did you think, wow, is this country? You're like, wow, is this country? Or wow, this is country. What was your thought when you heard it? I did the second. I did, and I would be truthful with you, because if I didn't like it, I probably wouldn't say anything. But it definitely was like, wow, this is really good. Plus this guy's voice, I was like, is that a white guy? I mean, it can't be a white guy. He just has this amazing, fun, rich voice, and a cool story too. Plus, let's face it, the guy was super charming, really country, down to earth. I love Southern accents. I'm a sucker for it. When somebody calls me Miss Mia, I lose my mind. He's more country than a lot of the country people that are out there that they're trying to make country. Does that make sense?
It totally does, and that was a new thing that I learned on your show. So this is why I say, everybody be open to showcasing, like Chef does, like Jessica does. People that don't necessarily, when you first see them, you're like, what's a common denominator? Because everybody's going to bring something cool to the table, and that was the kind of cool thing that made sense, that it's not necessarily accepted somewhat in country music. There can be a little, like, this guy is not, fitting in their mold, but that's a great thing about Google Plus. Everybody can fit in too. Hey, real quick, I want to shout out Dave Moore, across the pond. Jessica Northey and I follow each other on Twitter for a couple of years, so we get to see her live and hear her voice. Awesome lady. Speaking of great voice, Dave's got a cool British accent. Sucker for that, for sure.
I think too. Another thing when you do these, it's one thing that I don't know if you picked up on this. I have a heavy radio and TV background, but
right.
I want to ask Chef if he likes country. One thing as a host too is to remember when you bring a guest on, that people like to highlight your guest, because I'll do a lot of interviews. I've interviewed by you name it, and they'll be like, oh, what do you think about whatever, and then they tell you what they think. You're like, ah, da, 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 and then they spend an hour explaining to you what they think. Like, it's kind of funny of you, it's like trying to remember to be like, everything is about that guest. And that's why, like, when I was like, Mia, you talk to him, you go to them, so like every formatical change or everything, like on these HOHs and these things you're making, it's funny because they're all different. Like, I can't wait to watch Chef's today, but I hadn't seen yours. It's a variety show, like Google. I just thought it's so cool looking.
Yeah, it's just a variety show. We have different guests on, and we just interact with each other. Good day, Googlew Plus.
I love it. You're brilliant. I love it.
I'd say mine and Chef's is the closest to that of kind of being the variety show. I love that phrase, by the way. I'm old enough to remember the old school variety shows like Laugh-In and all the shows that they bring people on. I wish I had a couch that I could put you guys on. That would just make my day as well.
I keep waiting for Ellen to notice me. I want to get on the Ellen DeGeneres show. That's my goal. So.
All I have to say, if you go, you better bring me. Damn it.
We have to do a package deal.
And it is a package deal.
I think this is great.
Yeah.
I think it's great. So how long have you been doing this, Chef?
I started the show, I think it was in September this year. I first started running the show up. It was in the midst of getting the house ready to move, and we put the house up for sale, which took time getting it ready. And the first person through bought it on the first day we showed it, so it was good news, bad news. We sold the house, bad news. Now we got to move really quickly. So we did some scurrying, and then we got here on a Wednesday, and I had my internet hooked up on a Thursday, and I had my Friday show, and I was keeping my fingers crossed that everything would go okay.
And you did. I that's the great thing too. You kind of, and Jessica, too. You really can't miss a beat. It's okay to have it just be. I'm going to still do this. I really encourage people to do that too. Like, don't wait till everything's perfect. I mean, look at me. I still have awful internet upload, and I keep saying I look like a martial arts movie. That's okay. I'm still going to do my show. I got awesome guests, and
totally. Ooh, I'll let you talk. Sorry.
No.
No, you go.
Yeah.
And if you wait till Mercury's out of retrograde, that just
and
that blows a whole season, doesn't it?
He shows up 3 times a year and is around for about 2.5 weeks, just jacking with everybody's lives.
Yeah.
I actually just celebrate him. I'm like, come on, what you got, you little punk?
And Jessica, you asked before if I was a country fan. Well, yes, ma'am, I am. I'm a Texas boy, and I listen to both kinds of music, country and Western.
That's the right answer.
As a country music fan, and do you like, okay, so you say country and Western, this whole new thing where, like, Florida Georgia Line and Nelly, or these people are, like, Luke Bryan and his twerking on stage and his songs are, what do you think of that? Are you like, oh, hey, that's an insult to Hank, or are you like,
oh, no.
I love it.
I have been heavy into music, and I really love all kinds of music, so I don't see it as an insult. I just see it, I'm telling you, country people are probably the most forgiving and loving fans in the world. You put boots and a hat on anybody, and they will listen to them.
Yeah, but not now. I think now, you know what, though, you're from Texas, but it's a huge dissension right now. There's fighting, like you got Zach Brown saying to Luke Bryan, that's not country, and you got all these artists infighting. It's kind of interesting. I'm kind of neutral with CM Chat, but I had the Bill Wardy from Billboard magazine. I did a hangout with him right after Billboard decided to change the charts to where it monitors not just radio play but also internet stuff is part of it. And so all of it was right when Carrie Underwood had dropped, or was about to go #1, and Taylor dropped Red. And I had all the Carrie Underwood fans saying, how can you side in like that bubblegum pop country artist Taylor? And I'm like, that's coming from Carrie's fans. And it's just a funny story that they would, in social media, of how it fuels this blame. But there's all this infighting going on in country right now, and it's like, just because you put a hat and boots on it doesn't mean it's country. Like they're like go like Brooks and Dunn are fighting.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Brooks and Dunn had been fighting with each other for a long time. I mean, they held it together.
I mean, I had Ronnie on Monday night. Ronnie loves he loves Brooks, but I mean, there's social media is creating insanity in country, but in some ways too, it's brilliant.
That makes sense. It'd
be like it's your GMOs, or like someone's like GMOs anti this, or they're like the paleo diet or vegetarian diet. It's like,
well, let me tell you, we
right.
do have that, because we're most of us regular food bloggers are fine. We'll exist with everybody. Paleo's fine too, but I mean, sometimes you get the vegans, and the vegans is like, not all of them, but you get the ones that are like, and they see a meat eater, they want to put a cross up, to ward you away. It's like, how can you do that? I just like, everybody eats what they want, have a good time, and just enjoy yourself.
For you, right? Yeah. The polarized crowd. I mean, a polarized crowd, everybody gets that way. I mean, it gets this way too of like, oh, now this big, thing between YouTube and Google with that. I mean, everybody's gonna get snitty, get their pants in a little snit about something. I'm gonna shout out Krithika real quick because this is cute. Let's see, I said in Weber's hosts and all are me. Lovely to find guests like Chef who actually care about their guests and their audience. Thank you, honey. And I actually meant to pull this one up because this one you'll like. The CM chat numbers are inspiring. By the way, I'm a newly converted country music fan, although I just follow the 99.5 country channel in Chicago. Woo-hoo. So Luke Bryan, you just mentioned him about twerking too. So that is awesome. Yeah.
Well, I'll always be a big George Strait fan, so
Yeah.
Oh, was that a good? Oh. Somebody wants to know what's the difference between country and western. Is this going to cause a fight?
No, it's a joke, because country western, it all started the CMA Awards. Okay, so country music out of Nashville music, and then there's what's called the Bakersfield sound. But there's like this twangity, and then there's Texas red dirt country. It's so old that it's funny. Like Chef would tell you that, like in the old days, you'd have like that steel guitar and a banjo, and it had, like this fiddles in it, and there was like your western sound and country. But I don't know, like what if you go way back to like Jimmy Rogers and the sound, it actually has a jazz and horns in it.
Oh yeah,
like the father. Yeah,
that was the swing. Yeah, the swing. Portion of it. Yeah, it just really changed, and it was the singers, I think, and the popularity of it that started bringing out, because when you had those old ones, and sometimes, if they came out today, I don't know if some of them would have made it, because their voices weren't always real good, but it was country,
Well, they didn't have auto-tune. It's auto-tune, buddy.
You listen to anything that's in the 80s, you guys, even think about Madonna at the time. Like, yes, there's a lot of people who are like, her voice kind of sucked. It's a little.
She sounds like Minnie Mouse on helium.
Yeah, she definitely did. We're probably gonna
like literally, if you go listen to it right now, now that I said her voice actually sounds like Minnie Mouse on helium, go listen to a Madonna song when this is over, and you're gonna go, Jessica was right.
she and tell you. I love 80s music. I hate that. I'm such a sucker for it. So I listen to it, and it's so bad. It's good. So.
Well, I like from the 80s Journey, that kind of stuff.
Tony Starr, any kind of ballad rock, absolutely.
I was just going to say the old metal power ballads, some of those things were great.
I will admit, I wasn't a hair bands girl, but it did take me a little while. I was living in New York in the early 90s when the grunge came thing, and the thing came in, and it was so abrupt. Like, remember, it went like hair band, boom, and then it was all Eddie Vedder and Stone Temple Pilots and God, why am I just blanking out on Nirvana and all that? Although I gotta give a shout out to Dave Grohl. I have the biggest music crush on Dave Grohl in the world. I'm mad I didn't watch the Country Music Awards because I heard Dave Grohl was on there, and then I was kicking myself. So I'm kicking myself I didn't watch that one live. Guys, I'm gonna bring on my little special hidden guest down here. That's in the corner. I bet some of you guessed, because she's my constant companion, my newest co-host is showing the broadcast. Unmute yourself. I hope you're not picking your nose, honey. Christina DeGraff. Come on down. Let me get my applause. Hold on a second. Let's see if it's working. It's still the little picture. And then this is also my favorite sound, you guys. There she is. Now I know that laugh. She's there.
Can you guys see me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I can see and hear you. I'm hoping there's some cat porn going on behind you.
Oh, probably.
I heard about that, yeah.
I wanted to thank you, Mia, because when Mia told me that she was having you guys on the show, I like begged her. I'm like, come on, I want to be on there. You got to get me on. So she's
and
like,
it took her about. This is what it took. Hey, can I come on the show? Yes. That's how it sounded. That conversation.
Well, I'm glad you did.
Yes, and now, Chef, you are surrounded by a bevy of beauties. I hope you can handle all this.
I can. I love it. I prefer it that way, actually. You know, when people are funny, I worked in a kitchen, and the last job I had was at an all-girls school. And in the kitchen, all my workers were women too. So you know, I'm used to it, and I actually, you know, prefer being surrounded by beautiful women.
I bet it was Ladies Love, LLCD, Ladies Love Chef Dennis.
You know, I fed them very well, and they really did. They actually painted a big mural for me in the kitchen. Yeah, they went from eating school food to eating chicken marsala and sushi and
right. Oh, man, listen, I love my groceries. I would have loved you too. Mama loves her groceries, as we like to say. Hey, Christine, let's talk about our show real quick. We just busted out our first show this week, the 15 Minutes with Christine and Mia, and we had Greg on, Greg Trujillo, yes, our darling Greg, who was so inspirational.
Definitely.
Right? He had just come, and this is what I love too, he literally just come from a volunteering, working with homeless people. I'm like, it just doesn't get any better than this, right?
Yeah, I was so inspired by him. I really was. You know, it's like a lot of people can have a hard, background, have some hardships, and to come out and be so positive and, never give up is just such a great, I mean, it's so obvious that he's very positive and, and wants to use it to give back to others too. He wants to, he's not forgetting what he went through.
No, and also, but not, and this is definitely not what we want for the theme of our show, of this kind of like martyr type of thing at all. Like, he just is more like, this really was a tough time, and it happened, a couple times too. It wasn't like he just had a crappy period for a lot of us too. And I think that's interesting. In social media, you can see a lot of us had to recreate, and that's where a lot of these personalities come out in social media. Is we had to get clever and
I felt
really
like
overcome.
I mean, I was a little nervous about that, when we went into the concept of our show, people telling their story, and, was it going to be depressing or something like that? But, it was so inspirational and motivational, and I think everybody just came away feeling like, wow, that's the way to be, that's the attitude to have.
Awesome.
It's never happened to me before. It's so weird. Of all the days, it's never bumped me out like this before.
Mercury just went out of retrograde on Tuesday, just so you know. I'm gonna say he's still fringing on us a little bit.
Oh yeah, that's when the electronics go haywire, when Mercury's in retrograde or whatever.
He is very, very famous for that, for sure. So we were just talking about the show that Christine and I have launched now. Everybody's given us some shout-outs on that, too. Krithika says, Christine is in the house. David Oldenburg's show is on after this, too. Love you guys. David's crushing it. I think he's doing something on online online poker or something today?
Yeah.
Listen, I always say I'm a for-profit gal. I'll watch anything that talks about let's make it a profit thing. Greg Trujillo, I think he's like super crush. Love that. So I'm just going to kind of open it up. Let's talk about what everybody's favorite social media platform is. I mean, I can guess the top one for a lot of us. I'm just saying, because we all drink. This is my, I'll call this our Kool-Aid. Our Googlew Plus Kool-Aid. This is actually chlorophyll water, because up here I get very little oxygen here at 5280. So I drink weird green stuff to keep my oxygen going. Chef, talk about what are some of your favorites. Obviously Googlew Plus, but what are some of your other ways that you communicate with a lot of people?
Well, I'm on Twitter. I do use that. I have not. Yeah, Twitter and Facebook. I have pages on LinkedIn. I'm on. Instagram. I just started using Instagram a little bit more. So, I'm on pretty much all the regular social media. It's just I don't spend the time I used to on those. So Googlew Plus has really monopolized pretty much my whole day. And I've found that I get a lot more traction from it. Twitter, I never really got into it as much as I probably should have, but the interaction for me was never there. I know other people do extremely well on it.
Well,
And
we've got two people on the panel that do, and they'll speak to that in a second. But it's finding what, and I'm the same with you. I do love Twitter, and I need to pull up Twitter so I can see how Batcrap Crazy's doing. But Facebook was really my big, and then Googlew Plus is where I really feel like I was able to do things like invite you to the show, pull up a hangout, talk with you, get connected, and then we're off to the races.
Yeah, I never had that different kind of interaction with all these different people. Like, it was always specific to food or people that wanted recipes or wanted food. Now I'm like all over the board with all these different kinds of interests, on Googlew Plus, and that's what's great about it. Plus, worldwide. I'm even more worldwide now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Michael Kutai was on from Japan last week. I've talked with Pio Dao Chin out of Italy. Ladies, I know you have the same thing going on. I'm just really kicking it hardcore with a much broader audience than we ever could before. I'm going to jump in real quick and ask you guys too, but I know Paige Gregory had asked the other day about building a fan base on Instagram. She says she's trying to build one for Rodeo Chat, and it's a bit tough. Any comments on that on Instagram? I really just post pictures of food and Bob Voss on Instagram. Well, and it works for me, but
I think, first of all, and I thought about this, I was actually going to tell you about this page, if you're watching this, is you need to know what are your goals. Like, for me, for CM Chat, I have like 150,000 or 120,000 followers on Instagram, but I post, like if I'm hanging out with some celebrity or I'm in Nashville or I'm on a red carpet or whatever, I'll click a pic and it comes from the Jessica Northey account and I'll hashtag it CM Chat. But I think like your best is to just build yours page, and then when you do something that's Rodeo Chat related, hashtag it Rodeo Chat. But I think because the social media platform du jour, like I say with the chat, be balanced. It's obviously a hashtag chat, Twitter, Facebook, but I watched, tell her when I can tell her. Watch what Ben Haggard has been doing, Merle Haggard's kid, because I've watched him be really strategic with his Instagram account, because he said to me one day on a DM, he's like, how do you have so many followers? And I think I've been on Instagram since the beginning is one part. But
of course you have, because you're Jessica Northey.
But no,
girlfriend's got her finger on the pulse.
Well, but also, like, I think another thing, okay, for all you guys, here's something totally crazy. When you do your pictures, take them a little bit off. Don't do things center. Use it just a little bit off to the left or just a little bit to the right. Or take something like crazy and not your food, but like take a picture that's just a little not right to the center, and then write something significant. Like if you see a cloud and you're like, oh my God, that looks like Harry Potter's butt. Like we know what that looks like, right? Because he's always got a cape on. But you're like, that looks like Harry Potter's butt. What do you guys think?
That's
ask a
awesome.
question.
And just,
also ask a question.
Yes, because then I just Instagram you while you were talking, and I'm going to post that. But you're not off center. But I'm going to say, how hot is Jessica Northey? How's that?
Did I got my finger in my nose?
No, you did not.
There you go. Wait, hold on. Let me sit like that. No, I don't care.
That would be awesome. I was thinking about that too for that question as well. It's really your call to action. I think anything that you have to do. I mean, obviously everything's strategic for me. I'm clearly I have it. I've let myself off the hook of it being strategic for Instagram and just have fun with it. And really, it is pictures of food, booze, and the cat. That's my moniker of
well, see,
and when I lived,
your goal.
And
like that's your goal.
It is
your strategy.
Exactly.
Well, you probably know more than me, so I'll just let you talk.
Oh no, girlfriend, no, not at all. But I guess that is sort of my unofficial goal. So thank you for saying that. In Denver, because those of you who've been out to Denver, actually, and I need to mention, some people call it Menver, because we have a very large population of hot men here in Denver. I own one of them. You know what I'm saying? I got a hot one. So we were talking about Denver's very well known. So ladies, come on out. But I take a lot of pictures of Denver because it's just every day. I've been here since '95. Every day I go, man, this place is gorgeous. So I guess that would be mine too as well. So Miss Christine, how about you? I know you are my favorite Googlew Plus hooker. And I need that in the best way.
I have to tell you, I mean, I am only on the other platforms just because you never know, and I keep them up for that reason.
Yes,
but
ma'am.
I mean, I don't spend any time on any of them anymore. I just, I have to remind myself that yes, I do have to go on Twitter once in a while, and I have to, Instagram. That's like when I'm not at the computer and kind of trying to kill time or something, I'll do that. But I just love Google Plus, and it takes I spend a lot of time here, a lot of time talking to people, and I just never find time for the others, really.
That's a strategy, though, girlfriend. And I'm coming up behind you on that, because I definitely, that's where I go to first. Period. I've said that before. That's been a big jump for me because I was such a Facebook hooker for a long time. Still on it actively, but because a lot of my audience is there. But this Google Plus world is a whole new thing. So that's what's worked for you.
I think that's my problem is I log into Google Plus first and I never get done. So it's like I never, maybe if I logged into Twitter first and then I'd finish that up and then come over, but I'd log in here first and then that's like the whole day.
It really is. Can I just I'm going to pop in with this because it is funny talking about in a segue. Ralph Kaiser says, just wanted to get a glass of water and came back to Harry Potter's butt. Clearly it's something. You got to stay tuned in on the show. You can't miss a thing because the segue can be really fast. But yeah, Chef, you probably had that too. I mean, listen, after we do our shows, Jessica, you probably had this too. Literally, I don't make plans anymore after my shows because, I love to have, my guests always comment afterwards. So if y'all are looking for comments from Chef, you're going to have to wait because he's going to leave to start a show soon, and he's got things cooking in his kitchen. Yeah. But that's what we do is we spend a lot of time interacting with people, and it's time consuming, but I love it, and that's where you built it. I mean, Jessica, what do you have? 1.2 million. Let me add the million because I missed the million in the beginning. Jessica's got 1.2 with Christine 43,000. Chef, you're right up there, over 350,000.
375.
375, almost gypsy 25,000. That's awesome. Let me ask you this: now that everybody's big pimping with all their numbers, besides Queen, how do you? And actually, Stefan Hovnanian said he was on Craftstar yesterday and had a lot of good advice about circles and keeping track of everybody. How do you guys handle that when you get so many people, so many notifications? Give me your tips on managing your popularity. Chef, and I'll have you start because I know you have to bounce.
Yeah. The only thing I can say is, I don't get. I mean, I get a ton of notifications, but there's so many that we don't get. Once you get past a certain number, and you just don't get them. You don't see them. I might see a handful of people who follow me each day, so I have no idea who's actually following me every day, unless they interact with me. I don't know.
Gotcha. I can see that. I mean, I have my favorite, my finest of wines, cheeses and meats, as I like to call them. I thought you'd like that. The finest of the finest, my A-list that I interact with, and that's really fun. And then people pop in too. It's hard too when you get tagged on a lot, where it's the thread. That's probably the hardest thing I have, and I apologize to people if I haven't liked your comment or commented, because we all love each other so much. We mention each other so often, right?
Absolutely. Well, people can't be afraid to interact with us, but they can't expect that the first time they do that, we're going to become buddies right away. So, everything takes a little work. Anything, you got to romance me, right? Okay, and I know you have to go, so let's ask what your bat crap crazy is. Okay, since I just really learned about what it was today, my bat crap crazy is something that I read quite a few years ago that has finally come out on movie, and I have not seen it yet, but it's called Ender's Game, and that is by Orson Scott Card, and I have been a big fan of Orson Scott Card for years, and I've been waiting for this movie, and it's finally out. So my wife's even agreed to go see it, and she usually doesn't see any kind of movie like that. I'd be going along. Yeah, and I pulled up my Back Crap Crazy just for you, and I wish I could put it over on your side. I have heard about that too. And what's the premise on that movie, on the book? Well, the premise on Ender's Game is the Earth was attacked by an alien species, and Ender was a 6-year-old that was sent up to a battle camp to learn how to fight the aliens, and he never loses, ever.
So it sounds like we got a little bit of an apocalyptic thing going on, which is all me. You get me anything, end of the world, I'm ready to throw down. So awesome, Chef. Hey, thank you so much for being on the show with us today.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. I'm so glad I could come on. We'll have to do this again.
Yes, absolutely. Go have a good show, and then I'm going to see you on
Thank you, ladies. I'll see you all later, and I'll talk to you about being on my show, okay?
And good day, Google.
Good day, Googlew Plus.
And I'm going to end with a little applause for you, Chef.
Thank you. See you all later.
Dear. Okay,
Bye-bye.
see you later. Bye. All right, now it's down to just us chickens. I've got somebody, JP Chastain, that wants to come on the show, but we're staying with the ladies right now, JP. But thank you, though, and we'll definitely be commenting on that too. So let's see, Jessica. Let's talk about you and my girlfriend. You are so good. I don't know how you.
Sorry, you'll laugh because you say I'm good. Right now, I'm answering 20 different questions. I've got 5 people asking me stuff on Twitter, 4 people on Facebook. I'm DMing with 3 people. And it's funny, I'm answering all their actual social media questions because they thought we were going to be just talking social media or something today, but they didn't realize.
Well, this is called the social media power chat, but
it is. I thought it was called Bat Crap Crazy. I told them.
No, that's what we're crazy about. I will
old.
say, and I apologize to everybody out there that we're not into it as much, but I'm sorry, you guys are too friggin' interesting for me to just talk about social media.
But that's the key. I know.
Well,
I know you guys talk all the time. I only have a little bit longer, but I was going to say is that one thing I said at a conference 3 years ago, and it still comes back to bite me a little in the ass. It was a huge conference I was speaking at. Like I think it was the NAB conference in Vegas, and I think there was thousands of people in the audience. And the one lady said to me about social media, what would be my advice for people? And I think I only had like 100,000 followers on Twitter at the time, and about like 20,000 Facebook fans on my thing. And I didn't really think I was a big deal or anything. And they're like, "How do you get so many?" And I'm like, "Well, you got to put interesting stuff." And the lady goes. Something like, she goes, "What if you're not interesting?" And I was like, well, I really can't make you interesting if you're not interesting. If you're not interesting, it's like it may not work for you.
Tape somewhere?
Yeah, I got to find it. But I was like, I can't make somebody interesting, and I can't make people interested in you. Like, you got to be interesting to your audience. Like me, I knew right away in radio, you pick 3 things. I'm the bitch, I'm the sarcastic one, I'm the asshole, I'm the this, I'm the that. Like, you pick, like, your 3 things, and you have those 3 attributes, just like watching Seinfeld. Like, if you dissect a character, figure out those things. And then, like me, I talked a lot about the Dallas Cowboys. My dog has, like, 6,000 followers on Twitter because I talked about her all the time. Then the, like, your, food, this, foodie, I'm into social media, I'm into Harry Potter bobbleheads, or collect coffee cups or stamps. Find your audience, talk about that, zero in on that target. Like, Paige is asking me about rodeo chat. I mean, I think you just stick in with things that are all rodeo, post about rodeo. I used to talk about Dallas Cowboys so much that one day I got a tweet from the Dallas Cowboys. They only follow like 80 people. They're like, "The Dallas Cowboys are following you," and it was a bag of footballs.
Wet your pants.
Yeah, totally wet my pants. Like, I peed, I did a cartwheel, I peed while I did a cartwheel. No. But I was like,
I love you.
It happened because I was zeroed in on my message. And funny is all the big people that have books were telling me, "You're all over that. You're too, like, pink, and you're too blonde hair, and you need to dress like this, and you need to be more professional, you need to act like that." And I was like, why? Because
Can I just say, I would give that the finger.
Well, 3 years ago, they made sense, and when they were telling me and giving me advice, especially your website's too pink, and I got lately my new redesign of CM Chat, it's very strategic. Like, women tend to certainly like one color, guys like another color, everyone likes this color, and you guys know that I went through 500 shades of pink to find the pink that men liked and women liked. 500 shades.
So funny.
But it's strategic. It's about who's your audience, who are you trying to attract, like goals. Like, I'm not for everybody. I'm not. My clients are country music stars. Like, right? I worked with like a Luke Bryan, or I've worked with the HBO or the Dallas Cowboys. I've worked with these different things because of social media. and I zeroed in on what I was clear about and what my message was, and I stayed focused. When everyone's like over here, I stayed over here. They kept going this way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, one thing I did well too is you guys talked about whether you should be all Google Plus. Scott Stratton and marketing says you should spend 90% of your time on one network, and I agree to a point. However, what are your goals? Because I don't just want to be on Google Plus, a one-hit wonder, and that people know me on Google Plus. I want to be diversified. I'm now attracting networks. I've got a reality TV show, and I'm working on a second reality TV show. All that stuff. My goals were, I wanted to be a star, and so I use social media strategically to accomplish a productivity goal. Now, when you sit down, pen to paper, I believe in. Write down, I want to be a star. I want to be on TV. I want to be, I want to have a record. I told radio or my country music artist, I'm like, write me down the weirdest things, even if it's like, I want to get a girlfriend. I want to have, like, how many followers? I'm like, so I want you to visualize it. If you want to have a guest column, do you need a record deal? I have them write down even the weirdest crap. And then we sit down and I'm like, how can social media help you do that? You know that the head, Trent Reznor met his wife on Twitter. Randy Houser met his wife on Twitter. Like, I mean, what are you using social media for? And if you side goal, like maybe that, like I thought to the beginning, I was like, I want to have 10,000 followers on Twitter. This is so random, y'all. But I was like, I want to have a column on All Access. Yeah. Like, literally, I did. I've had a column on All Access for, like, I actually let it go at the beginning of the year because I needed to concentrate on all this stuff. But I said, I want to have a column on All Access. And with less than a year.
Love intention.
Yeah, and I spoke at their conference, the first ever Worldwide Radio Summit, and I had that column. It's funny. Just write down these crazy ass things. You're like all, I want to be on a reality TV show. I want to be like Rachel Ray. I want to be like so and so, and write that down. And then look how those people are using social media.
Yeah. And start following you, getting your influencers right.
What she's saying is reminding me of what Billy Funk, our friend Billy Funk, said the other day.
Extreme Funk.
He said, you need to think big to get big. And that's exactly what Jessica just said.
Who said that?
Billy Funk. He's a great guy. You should definitely follow him. He's awesome.
Yeah, we'll connect you to him because you'll have the biggest. You'll get an instant crush like we did, and he's completely right.
And when he posted that, it was like it kind of just. That actually hit a light bulb for me. I'm like, I'm not thinking big enough. I'm not thinking big enough at all. I need to sit down and get a pen, and write it down and think as big as I can, because that's what's going to make the difference. Because that's what you're now setting as your goal to strive for.
Right.
So, I love JP Chastain, by the way. He's hilarious. Whoever this is, JP.
I know, he's funny. You see,
I love him. I think I'm in love with you, JP. You're funny.
We should, all right, I'm going to try and surprise him on that. And Shelley Palmer, she's actually bringing up what I was thinking too, Jessica, to your point. They talk about that, diversity. It's they talk about that in finance. They talk about it in the whole thing. So I love, with your intention on that, and I'm probably going in that same way with having this show. Obviously, having Edge Ad Exchange come on and support us. Christine and I, same thing. Yeah, you got to think big. I love this too. I know it probably sounds a little, crystal rubby, but I do believe in writing this intention down and really setting it and making the goals. I know it's so elementary, but it's worked. It's worked for you. I love it when you say too, when I only had, Kritika says it. She said the same thing. She goes,
no, but
only 20,000 Facebook fans? LOL. Right, honey, I love that because you're so kick-ass. What were you going to say, hon?
But it didn't happen. Okay, so there was a day.
It was a lot of work. It wasn't like you had some viral video.
Y'all know that
which I'd love to see, don't get me wrong.
I started out, actually, you'll laugh, so back in the old days, well, IRC coding, like when you would, the internet relay coding, but AOL, I would do AOL, I'd go on and I love the show The Bachelor, blah, 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 talk The Bachelor. Then the next thing would be, I got on that, it was Love at AOL, and I actually had met a boyfriend that I got pretty close to, doesn't matter, move forward. I'm all, this MySpace in 2000, and just somebody can maybe tell me 2002, 2003, when MySpace came out, and I became really good at it. I'm good at the internet. And so I was better than anyone else at it at the radio station. So one day I had 7 radio stations, and it was like, you're good at MySpace. How can we make this make money? And that was nearly coming up on 10 years. Like, how can we make money at this? This is all well and done. It's fun. If you're not making money, it's a hobby. If you're okay and you have time to make hobby into it, but I mean, show me the money. And no offense to anybody, but show me the money. Like, if I'm gonna spend all freaking day long on here, I gotta be rolling in some dough, right?
I'm telling you. Well, Randy Hilarski, my buddy, shout out to Randy and Annabelle down in Panama. He quoted me in his blog the other day. We were talking about online advertising, which Edge is doing, and said, Mia Voss is always saying there's a ton of people who are super popular online and flat broke. So
say what? Oh
yeah,
and it's in a basement at their mom and dad's house or whatever. Like, it's funny. That's not a bad thing, but I think that you'd be surprised what the people who are really big online, what they're like in real life.
I always get surprised too. I will say that's been an interesting thing about Googlew Plus. In general it is, but we all kind of giggle too. Like, if I turn the camera around my office, I got 2 cats laying over here hanging out. I got, stuff I have to file and all that. It is kind of funny to see what's behind the great and powerful Oz curtain for everyone too. So, JP, I just invited you to the show, Mr. Man. I don't know if you saw that. You have to like the Mia Connect page. With the changeover, Google changed me over. I used to be able to do the show from Mia Voss. Now I have to do the Mia Connect. So thanks for that. I didn't like that change so much, but I do like the whole change with YouTube. So anyway, yes, but I agree. I think there's a lot of people though that are kind of stuck in the basement. But that's where the trolls come from too. They're hanging out behind their little keyboard making crappy comments, and you're right. I have you guys, and we're gonna wrap it up and start thinking about your backtrack crazy. But let's talk about how's everybody doing with trolls, and how are you handling that? Christine, you always handle things with such great compunction, and you do very well with it. Me, I come out swinging. I'm ready to cut a bitch. That's just me. I need to temper that. I get a little feisty. I know your dog had a picture of himself in his socks this week. That was
I posted a picture of my dog in socks, which turned out to be my best post ever, which is kind of a little frustrating. But I guess it hit what's hot, and then the trolls started coming out, and they were posting swastikas on, like made out of characters under, and just saying all kinds of things, and I actually had to turn the comments off just because it got so bad. It's pretty sad, but I tried not to engage them, and I do sometimes. People leave just the most random, strange comments, and sometimes I'll ask them what they're talking about, and then they'll say one guy said something about, well, get me out of your stream, and I said, well, I'm not following you, but I'll be happy to block you, so no problem.
Exactly.
Jessica, have you dealt with a lot of trolls?
I freaking love trolls, man. I freaking love them. I don't know. You gotta call me crazy. One thing I know about, because I have had I've worked with some pretty famous people, and what is funny that they've all taught me is that the bigger you get, the bigger the arrow on your back. So when I get more and more trolls, I just know I'm making it. That's how I look at it now.
Everybody go troll Jessica. She loves it.
I refuse to ever worry about what anybody says that I could delete from my life with a button. Come on.
Right.
Why do I give a shit what you think about me? Come on. Like at the radio station, when people would call in or do that stuff, it's like, hang up a button. Same thing today. But like, just hit delete, hit block. But I do love like what Blake Shelton and some of those guys do. This is going to be strategic for you. So if we're talking, social media, strategically figure out for yourself if, like I tell my artists when they start to get harassed, you can be hilarious and respond to them and come back and make them look stupid, but you just took your giant audience. So like I got 400,000 followers. Some guy tells me I'm fat or I'm ugly or I'm whatever, and I go, hey, you dickhead, or whatever I say, and then all of a sudden all my people now are looking at this guy, right? Yep. What did I just do? I just lifted him up to my world, and hell no, I ain't gonna let you have a ride on my coattails. So it's like I just hit block, and there's like a lot of
That's a good idea.
You can have fun with them too, and then stick your followers on them too. Because I had somebody say something mean to me, and I was like, "Oh, you're breaking my heart," or I don't know what I said. I was like, "Oh,
yeah.
I'm like, that's not nice." And then all of a sudden, somebody said I didn't know anything about country, and like it was hilarious because I was like, I know more. I need to shut up. I know too much about country, and sometimes I like will overwhelm people because I talk too much about country. And someone's like, Jessica doesn't know anything about country music or something. And I don't have to say anything because they did it on the hashtag.
Firestorm. Right.
Yeah, and I think like that's another thing, y'all, is like I always tell my people, I'm like, please don't engage the trolls too because it feeds them. It just feeds them. And like if you're around me, know this, that I'm not worried. When people pick on me, I have pretty big shoulders, and I'm like all, why shoot ants with a shotgun? Like,
you're so quotable. I can't even take it. It's so true. Yeah, that's a perfect one. I will say I did a little. Christine knows I love this phrase, dog shaming, on a gal that writes for
say it.
Dog shaming. Have you ever seen the dog shaming when they have pictures of the dogs and they have a poster in front of them that says, I ate my own poop or I chewed up the couch? Just hilarious. I'm going to post some dog shaming. But I saw this on Twitter yesterday, Mia Aquino, love the name clearly. I think she's a writer for HuffPost, and some guy who's really big on Twitter stole her little pie chart talking about how Snapchat that turned down Facebook buying them or something. And pretty much stole her pie chart and said, hey, check out this little thing on Snapchat, and never gave her a bit of credit. So she shamed him on Facebook, and then I turned around and shamed him on Twitter. And he's big, too. I was really surprised that he did that. So I had a good time with that. I had no problem with saying, you're bad or something like that. So once in a while, I think you got to call people out too. And there's definitely an art to the engagement on that as well. So clearly, people are agreeing with you on all the comments here. Ralph Kaiser says he's back crap crazy about what you're saying.
Me?
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm a freaking crazy, but you know one thing about me, what you see is what you get. Like, I've been doing this a really long time, and it's like you come and you see me at a concert, or you see me cruising around the bars in Nashville, or like just at the grocery store in Tucson. Like, what you see is what you get, and I think that's one thing in social media. You don't want your gynecologist on there tweeting and talking and being weird, or I don't want my lawyer to be talking too free and fun online. But I'm in the entertainment industry, and I'm an entertainer. So the way I use the internet is very different from maybe you who's ever watching this, or even like someone, you could be almost like me or near me, but you're not going to be me, and you don't have to run your own race. Like, what are your goals? I always say that. It's like I say this, I need to write this again, or I need to do a hangout on it, but I call it Get a Grasp of social media, and it's like a thing I go through with my clients. So you guys are getting this for free, and I charge big money for it. It's called GRASP, Goals, Reach, ABCs, Sociality, Promotion. What are my goals?
Love it.
Who am I trying to reach? Like, do I want women 25-54, men 18-49? Like, we're not for everyone. And then if this is more product related, if you're on here just to have fun, don't listen to me. If you're having fun, just screw Jessica. She's talking out of her butt. But
just change
goals,
the channel. It's all good.
Reach, ABCs, which would be also ABCs in aesthetics. Like, what do you look like? Like, orange seems to do really good for men and people on the internet. Okay, so this is going to be really fast. Sociality, what am I talking about? Like, Paige talks about horses a lot, I think, and rodeo, and it's cool because it's where she needs to be. Mia, you talk about your dog, and you talk about like
social media, backcrack crazy, looping in making it more fun.
Exactly. And then promotion. How are you going to promote it? One thing I always have said, I don't just exist on here. Y'all ought to see me at a networking event. I work a room like nobody's business. But while I'm at that room, I take the phone, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, oh, yeah, we should talk. And then I connect with them on Twitter, connect with them on Facebook, right then and there on this phone. I connect with them, and I put it on my business cards. It's on my email signature, bumper stickers, T-shirts, like follow me. Put it everywhere.
Yeah, I think go big. I think consistency is really key. I remember I was working on a mastermind group. Somebody was trying to come up with a tagline for me, and he said, "How about I'm not you and you're not Mia?" I was like, I did that. I still have the napkin he handed to me.
I like that.
I do too. That one's for you, Paul. By the way, we're still talking about it 9 months later. I think I actually still have the little cocktail napkin that came on.
Wait, say it again.
I'm not you and you're not Mia.
That's cool. I love it.
That was hilarious. So things like that you love. Hey, real quick, Willie Cousin, thank you for watching the show. He says it's amazing. So, Jessica, people are losing their mind over you with all these fun little bon mots, as I like to say, that you're busting out on us. Somebody also said,
just a dork, y'all. Like I'm a big dork. I'm enthusiastic. I love this, but I'm a serious dork, y'all.
I love it. Follow her on Facebook. That's actually how we got connected. I think I commented on something and liked your pictures because you always post really fun, just goofy pictures too, and that keeps people entertained as well. Look at everybody's writing in your GRASP thing. All right, ladies, we're gonna wrap it up. Christine, what are you back crap crazy about, darling?
I am back crap crazy about my music hangout that I'm doing on Sunday. I met Shannon Hernandez, who is an on-air personality for 98 KUPD out of Phoenix, Arizona, and
gotcha.
he was actually doing some shout-outs on the radio to some of the people that are following us, and it's just really cool. So I'm going to interview him on Sunday, and it should be pretty cool.
Girlfriend, I love this. A month ago, you, like a month and a half ago, you were not even getting on, the video blog thing was
I was too scared to be in front of the camera. Yeah, I was too scared. I was too scared to do a video blog for myself. Like, to actually sit in front of the camera myself with nobody seeing it.
I hear it.
I got talked into going on, it was actually on David Oldenburg, who broke me out, and I just, like, afterwards I just had such a, like, exhilarating feeling, and I'm like, I'm doing this. I am totally doing this.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, you are kicking it hardcore. I'm pulling up the picture for my back crap crazy, but I want to hear what Miss Jessica says.
You know what? You didn't tell me what this was back crap crazy meant. Like you said, I'm supposed to. I heard you telling Chef. I was taking my freaking curlers out, and y'all were talking, and the dogs were barking, and I was like, huh?
Let me segue, because some people ask that. That is my tagline. I've been saying it forever. It's just a person, place, or thing that you are crazy about. This, for me, as a part of the show, gives everybody, and sorry, I thought we'd emailed it to you, gives everybody the idea, the chance to talk about what you like. So we're not just talking about you and what your thing is.
I like this. Is what I like.
Her doggy. I
like. I am crap crazy over Sissy Northey.
She's
like,
be.
oh, she isn't even gonna look at y'all.
Well, hold her up, baby girl.
She
Let's
says
see her.
It's cold, and she's like, I'm freezing. It's 70 in here. She says, Aunt Maddie, I miss you. Hi, Aunt Maddie. How are you? And all the other dogs. My friend, a bunch of my friends are watching, and I haven't been good about doing shout outs, but I love you guys, and you know who you are, and we love you.
Oh, honey, I love it. Yay. Yeah, because there's a lot of people who do. I'm going to do screen share real quick so you can see. I'm back crap crazy about the new Mia Voss super heroine made out of felt. And this is from the Craft Star and the Feltery. They're coming on, by the way, on It Needs a Crown. That's what we decided, that we need to put a little crown
I feel like I just played show and tell.
They're going to come on the show, you guys, actually on Black Friday. Next week I'm going to have a variety of guests. I'm going to announce who they are on the community page, and it's all going to be people who are into health and fitness. I think that's very appropriate since we're coming up on the eating season, which is the holidays. So we will have that looped up.
I thought that was Halloween.
Actually, it kind of was. You're right. It did start about a month ago.
I suck at that because I had lost a ton of weight, and I gained back like a few pounds over Halloween, just over Halloween.
Yeah, that's the notion time. Hey guys, how do we find you, Jessica? Where's the best place to find you? Everywhere.
I'm here, and I am cmchatlive.com, cmchatlive.com. If you like country, if you don't like country, you can follow my Facebook feed or my Instagram or Twitter or Google Plus or Plurk. I'm on Who-Say. I'm on, just Google Jessica Northey.
Yeah,
and then,
Northey.
Yeah, oops, I had to pick my nose real quick, y'all. That was an act. You know what it is? I think my hair went over it, and then I'm like,
That's a good luck. That'll be
I
a
always
good screenshot.
wonder with people that don't drive in cars where they pick their noses at. You know, 'cause
Listen,
it's not like where you
I
clean your
tell
nose. Isn't that where you clean your nose out when you're in your car?
Being in Colorado
and
and Arizona, that is probably the capital states for people picking their nose in cars. It's dry out here. That's what people do. So on that note,
and on that bat crap news.
crazy note, exactly. Christine, where should we find you? I think we can tell from your signature, Lovey.
Yeah, here on Google Plus, or at ChristineDeGraff.com, or like Jessica said, Google me.
Exactly. That is the way to go. And please circle these ladies. They're amazing. You guys can always find me over at the Mia Connect. Subscribe over there. The Mia Connect on YouTube. I'm pretty much eponymous across the board with that. I want to thank my sponsors again, Edge Ad Exchange. Amazing, highly targeted web traffic. I'm going to post their links on here too. And ladies, love you. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you. And it was so nice to meet you, Jessica. And
You
thank
too.
you for all of your advice.
Let's see the heart for the girl crush. Yeah, awesome. I got it. I'm crazy.
Can't do it.
Advice that you gave today. Okay, everybody. We'll see you next Friday.